Who here is celebrating anything? Anyone celebrating anything? Wow, one lone hand in the back. It doesn't seem very celebratory if you don't even woo about it. Thank you. What are you celebrating? Yeah.
Anniversary.
Anniversary? Oh, congratulations! What a fun date idea. Anniversary trip to a comedy show. That's so awesome. How long have you been together?
11 years.
11 years. Wow, that's so exciting. Such a fun, lucky number. I love that. Did you guys start off with the intention of dating, or did you start off with the intention of being like in a situationship?
I have the intention of not dating anyone.
Oh, there you go. See, you never know. You never know. Love can find you anywhere. I only ask because I, have had a tendency to find myself in situationships. Who amongst us has not, right? Like, situationships are an illness that affects millions of Americans every year. It was pretty bad when I was in college. In fact, when I was in college, I was in a situationship for 5 years. I expect that grown, yeah. Does it make you feel any worse if I tell you that I was in college for 4 years? Yeah, so I pretty much learned everything I needed to know for an undergraduate degree in English literature, but I did not learn my lesson. No, it was tough. Before you judge me too harshly for that, just know that I did a lot of mental gymnastics in order to justify that to myself, all right? Like, I was doing Paris 2024 level gold medal mental gymnastics. I was like, oh, well, the reason why, he's never been my date to my sorority formal all 4 years is because he's shy. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, the horn rim glasses and the sweaters with elbow patches and the reading a lot of Tolkien, and so then I read a lot of Tolkien. I was like, well, that's why none of our friends know that we know each other, despite the fact that we've lived in the same building all 4 years. And many, many other reasons. No, I went to school in Washington, D.C. Anyone here from D.C.? No, didn't expect it, it's fine. A place is a purgatory, you're not allowed to leave. I went to school in Washington, D.C., and a lot of the people I went to school with stayed in D.C. because they got a degree in war crimes. And so I moved out of our college town because I couldn't get a job in war crimes because I have a degree in English and theater. And poetry is my crime. No, it's actually improv. No, I left our college town, but had to come back the summer after I graduated because my best friend, my sorority little, was going to be getting married, and I was going to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. And so I texted him because he was still living there, and I was like, hey, how would you like to have sex in a bed that's not a twin size? Good business pitch there. And he said yes, right? Sick. So I sent him the address to the hotel room that my mom paid for. And I went to the rehearsal dinner, and then I'm like, okay, meet me here after the rehearsal dinner. So I go back to my hotel room, and he's sitting there in the hotel lobby, and he's waiting for me, and he's reading a book. Sexy, right? Nobody ever agrees with me that it's sexy. And that might be why the election went the way it did. Literacy. No, he was reading a book, and so then I saunter up to him and I say, let's go upstairs. And we go upstairs, and we get upstairs to my hotel room. I take one look at him, and he takes one look at me, and he goes, do you mind if I finish this chapter? Yeah. Yeah, and that bruised the ego just as goes. Clearly, I'm over it, because it was 7 years ago. And that friend who got married has a baby now. And that baby has pink eye for a second time this week. I think she's lying to me, I don't know. And this is gonna sound like a non sequitur. Are any of y'all on the side of TikTok where your For You page is showing you videos about the signs and symptoms of undiagnosed adult autism? Yeah. Okay, great. Good to read the audience. Sick. Most of the time when I ask that, it's just the comics in the back who are like, yes! But I can't afford health insurance. But so I've been getting some of those videos quite a bit, and so I texted one of them to my friend whose wedding it was, the one with the baby, and I was like, hey, based on this video, do you think that he has undiagnosed adult autism? Mm-hmm. And she goes, no, Courtney. No, I don't think that he has undiagnosed adult autism. Some of you know where I'm going with this. My friend says, I don't think he has undiagnosed adult autism. He doesn't like you. For some reason, that was more difficult for me to swallow. No, I know what the reason is. The reason is that I have attachment issues. And I know that I do. And I'm trying to work on it. Not with therapy, of course, because I'm 27, so I'm not allowed to go anymore. It's crazy. That's like a new rule they made up a couple years ago. But I have been working on it, but I might be overcompensating on my working on it. I'll let y'all be the judge. So back in July, I re-downloaded dating apps, and I met this guy. For the sake of anonymity, let's say his name is Matt. His name is Matt, but they're all named Matt. Odds are you won't know which one. And we're doing this like really mature thing where like, I can go date other people and he can even ask me about it and I'll tell him. But then as soon as the door closes and I can no longer see his face, I stop remembering that he exists. Like the object permanence thing that babies have. Because my ego can't handle the idea of him knowing the touch of another woman. But he was over at my apartment for like the second time ever, and he was asking me how dating apps were going, and I was like, oh, I've got this new rule about dating apps where I no longer give my phone number out to someone until we've been on one successful in-person date. And he's like, I totally get that. And I was like, yeah, it's a bit of a safety thing, right? Because I'm a semi-public figure as a stand-up comedian in Chicago. And he's like, no, absolutely, for sure. Plus, I love the idea of like getting to know someone over an actual conversation in person rather than just stalking them online, because you can find out a lot about them if you have their name and their phone number. And he's like, I love just discovering things about people. Like, for example, I don't even know your last name. And then you hear like bombs in North Korea just like flashing behind me. And it's just, what the fuck do you mean you don't know my last name? You don't know my last name? You couldn't bother to Google Courtney Chicago comedian? I'm one of 2 in the city. And the other one wears glasses. This isn't like a Clark Kent situation or like the end of a 90s rom-com. God, it'd be a horrible rom-com if it were. But I didn't say any of that to him. I didn't even say, how the hell did you get up here? Like, I live in a doorman building. Like, you just said, hey, I'm here to see that loud bitch in 403, and they let you in? Crazy. Don't worry, I've moved. But no, I didn't say any of that to him. What I did was I had sex with him. I didn't know what else to do. Like, what does one do in that sort of situation? And then the next day, I don't text him at all, right? You're gonna be really proud of me. I can't lie to you. We've gotten so close over our time together. I sent him a song? In my defense, it wasn't like, hey, I'm thinking of you, here's a song. He asked me what the song was that was playing when we were having the confrontation about him not knowing my last name, because I've got really good taste in music and really bad taste in men. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just tell him how I feel. So the next day, after I spend a lot of time in the shower screaming and sobbing, I text him. And I'm not gonna read it off my phone, but the effect of what I sent him was, listen, I am not happy with how that went down. I don't need you to respect me, but I need to respect myself. Not a strong start. We'll give it a 6. And so he responds and he's like, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. It was never my intention to hurt your feelings. I really like spending time with you, and I'd like to continue seeing you. And if this sort of situation happens in the future, I'd appreciate it if we can have these sorts of conversations in person. I don't know how this could ever happen again in the future. I mean, is he gonna get bonked on the head and just forget my last name? But whatever, I digress. And so I say, thank you. I do like you, and I'd like to continue seeing you too, but I just need some space. And he says, I totally get it. Look, I'm gonna be out of town for the holiday. Why don't I reach back out to you when I'm back in town? And that was Thanksgiving of last year. Do you guys think he's mad at me? Because I think he might be mad. Are you guys mad at me? Okay, great, because we're gonna have such a good time together. I'm so excited for your lineup tonight.